All right, hello wine drinking people. Time for more of what I've had to drink yesterday and a great event with winemaker Gustavo Gonzalez and Jim Bear Dyke, the president of Mira Wines. And, you know, this is a winery that was formed, well, these guys just managed to have some fruits. You know, Gustavo Gonzalez worked at Robert Mondavi Winery for the better part of the last 2 decades. And, you know, he got to meet a lot of people along the way. You know, in life, it's not what you know. It's who you know that can get you where you need to go. And he just happened to be talking to Larry Hyde, one of the growers that he knew in Napa Valley. And Larry said, man, I've got some Syrah grapes if you know anyone that's interested in them. And well, they make Syrah at Robert Mondavi Winery. So he said, there's no real conflict of interest here. Called his buddy Jim up and he said, this could be our opportunity. So they started with Syrah from the Hyde Vineyard. And, you know, anyone that's been making wine for a short period of time even knows you can't make great wine unless you have great fruit sources. So, you know, in 2008, when the market went down, the economy went down, there was a lot of growers that had fruit to sell. So Gustavo just happened to be in the right place at the right time. He and Jim started their label. And thinking about what they want to call it, they hired a company. And you know, I don't think they paid them that much money, probably, because they didn't use any of the names that they came up with. It's kind of weird. They said they made them do this survey and answer all these questions so they could get a feel for who they were, and then they came up with all these names, and these guys said, man, we don't like any of them. So, you know, they came up with this name all by themselves. Mira is the root of the word miracle in Latin, and they said this is a miracle. You know, now that there's fruit available. There wasn't fruit available before. We have an opportunity to start our own company, and I think it's a cool story behind the name. I like it when there's a story. When people come in, show me wines, and they go, well, what's the name mean? They go, it doesn't mean anything. It's just a name. All names have meaning, and you got to have a story. People like stories. And our group at Cafe Maxx, I think, really enjoyed meeting Jim and Gustavo and tasting their wines. These guys, definitely a label to watch. They're making their wines at Folio, which is Michael Mondavi's winery. And, you know, they've got some pretty good stuff. I would say the style of their wines also a little bit unique. You know, they're not overly oaky. They're more restrained. They're more wines that are on the savory, old-world European style. And especially the rosé, to me, this is a Saunier-style rosé of Pinot Noir, and I love Pinot Noir rosés. And this wine really dry, but had some lovely light strawberry fruit to it, raspberry fruit, some nice floral notes, and went beautifully with this grilled grouper fingers with the mango ginger glaze and the pink peppercorns, which also fabulous with the Sauvignon Blanc. The oysters also fabulous with the Sauvignon Blanc and the rosé. You know, Chef Oliver Saucy and company at Cafe Maxx are going to put out some great food, and we had almost a full house. No one had ever heard of Mira Winery. You just love the blind faith of our people. They know they're going to get something good to eat and drink, even if they haven't heard of the wines. The Sauvignon Blanc, they use a technique with these torpedo-sized concrete barrels. They're the first people to use them. This winery, very innovative. They also the first people to age wine underwater. They did an experiment with their 2009 Cabernet, and for 3 months they aged several cases, 60 meters under the water, 53 degrees, and you know, they came out. There was a lot of news because of this, and there were a lot of people looking at what they did, and you know, they went around and they did these tastings, and you know, these industry professionals tasted the 2 wines and determined there was a difference. We don't know what exactly happened to the wine, but they were slightly different. So more to come on this. And actually, they will sell you a cage so you can age your Mira wine underwater also if you want to do your own experiments. Anyways, the Chardonnay from Napa Valley up next. This is from the Oak Knoll region. The Sauvignon Blanc was from the Oakville region. And Oak Knoll, very cool, much better for Chardonnays. Both of these whites are very crisp style and clean style. The Chardonnay, not green and not herbal, and a little more melon and kind of fig style fruit. And the Chardonnay also just a tiny bit of oak spice here, more Chablis-like, really bright lemon, citrus, green apple, and really refreshing. Both of these wines just made you want to have another glass. And the Chardonnay went perfectly with that hazelnut dusted mahi-mahi with a citrus kiwi salad and lemon butter. Absolutely fabulous with this 2011 Chardonnay. The Stanley Ranch Pinot Noir was up next, and this is a winery that you've seen, Stanley Ranch, probably on Saintsbury. You've seen it on Sterling back in the old days, so somewhat famous for their Pinot Noir and Carneros. 2011, a cooler vintage, more savory style Pinot coming out of this, and some lovely light red berry fruit, really nice and tangy. Unfortunately, the walnut crostini was just a little bit sweet. and the sauce kind of robbed the wine a little bit of its fruit. But, man, I'll tell you what, that lamb carpaccio with the shiitake mushroom by itself with this wine was just fantastic. Really brought out the earthy notes in the Pinot Noir. And like I said, without the sweetness of that, the syrup and the toast, really went really nicely with the Pinot. Anyways, we had a trilogy of game here with this. The grilled venison fillet up next with a Sambuco glaze with the Hyde Vineyard Syrah. This is a plump and ripe Syrah. Really lovely, silky, velvety texture. Dark cherry and plum fruit, really plump. And he did do a little bit of tricks with the distemming here. You know, they use some whole clusters, and he uses, you know, some techniques to get some of the spice out of there and, you know, add a little complexity to the wine. This Syrah really, really... you know, delicious. And, you know, of everyone's wines on the table, several people like the Syrah the best, which in the $50 price range can be a little tough to sell, but it does have the Hyde name on it, and the wine is in the bottle. And excellent juice. I'm sorry, the Syrah's destemmed. The Pinot Noir, they use some stems in. I can't read my own handwriting here. Anyways, the Mira Cabernet, the first vintage of Cabernet, the first wine they produced, 2009, up next. And this is from Rutherford, and you get some of that Rutherford dust in this wine, some cigar box spice, some lovely currant and berry fruit in it. And these lines I love because they've got this lovely forward fruit, and they're very appealing right now for wines that I think they're going to hang around. They're very well balanced. They've got lovely freshness, and you know, this is a very good first effort. You can just see Mira Wines label to watch from Napa Valley. And they started out with just a few hundred cases of this wine, but they're already up to about 9,500 cases total for all of the wines with the new releases. So these are wines, like I said, you're going to see in several markets. Not everywhere in the U.S. That's still a small production, but Florida, I hear we're going to have a good allocation of Mira wine. So check them out. Everything we had to drink at our Mira Wine Dinner. I'm your host, Andrew Lampasoni, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.